You know what really pisses me off? These goddamn celebrities that act like they're saints and act like they're doing God's work when in reality they're just fucking assholes. Oh, my chair's clicking. Sorry guys. It's just, you know, they preach like all this climate incentive and talking about how they want to be sustainable and how they're all eco-friendly, they're green, they're looking for the green future. And it's like you're flying around a private jet. The fuck are you talking about? Until you get your ass off that private jet and until you're just, taking public transit like the rest of us and just driving an electric car everywhere, shut the fuck up. Okay? I'm sorry, but shut up. I, it's just it is beyond cringe. It honestly is. It's beyond cringe when you get these fucking rich motherfuckers that are acting like they're solving a problem when they're contributing more of the problem than anybody else. Like, yeah, it's always about setting it down to the lowest common denominator, right? It's always about the people have to help the people. It's the people's problem that they're, polluting. It's like, no, these fucking celebrities, they need to start doing their part. Maybe don't fly your fucking private jet, you son of a bitch. It's the same with this, like the Maui wildfire and stuff. It's that situation's just gotten crazy. Like, it's absolutely insane. The fact that, like, uh people have had their land burned down and then the government is seizing that land and they're talking about building a memorial or something. Like, the world is going crazy right now. And the reason I brought up Maui, I wanted to bring that point up. I wanted to bring the point up of the government seizing land. Look it up. I'm serious. But they're literally not giving people back their land that burned down because they want to build a memorial. And yeah, like I said, the reason I want to bring that up was another greedy celebrity. There's fucking Oprah talking about how people need to support and, like, donate to the cause in Maui. And I'm like, Oprah, you are richer than God. For the love of fucking God. If she could, if Oprah took a pay cut for 1 year, like her salary for the year, which would do nothing for her because she's already rich as fuck, she could rebuild Maui probably 100 times over. Just her alone. But again, it goes back to the lowest common denominator. It's the people need to help. The people need to help. It's like, how about the people that have way too much? How about you guys help? All right. I'm not preaching socialism here. I'm not preaching socialism, but I'm just saying, if I had, like, you know, $200 billion, and if I could siphon away $1 billion, not to mention it would be a tax write-off, and just charitably give it to Maui and rebuild the whole fucking place and look like a Giga Chad while doing it, I would do it. Because guess what? I still have 99 billion left. Like, I actually want to look it up right now, real quick. I have to look it up because now I'm curious. I don't think she's worth that much, but okay, she's only worth 2.8 billion, guys. Sorry, you're right. I was totally rude. I was totally out of line. 2.8 billion. That's not enough money to help anybody. If she spent like even 100 million of that, she'd be on the streets basically. So, but yeah, it's still nothing compared to Jeff Bezos's 165 bill, but she's getting up there. Still, either way, it's ironic to me. The reason I bring that stuff up, it's not about imposing some socialist thing. Like, I don't think rich people should be stripped of their money. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is, when you are rich, you need to shut the fuck up about people that are barely scraping by donating to fucking dumbass charity causes, because we know it's not going to work. Like, the stuff that we do is not going to do anything. Like, I'm sorry, it just won't, because we're too little and we don't know where it's going. It's the same reason I don't donate to charity. I just don't. It's literally against all of my beliefs, because almost every charity is a scam. I will never ever donate to a charity unless it's part of a, like, if I went to an actual event and the event was, like a speed demos archive thing. Like, well, it's not that anymore. It's SGDQ. If I was speed running there or something, and I was donating to the Doctors Without Borders, yeah, that's fine, whatever. But like, if I just wanted to do a charitable event on my own, I would never donate to like the Red Cross or any of that bullshit, because it's all a fucking scam. That's all it is. It's a big old scam of just a bunch of fucking rich motherfuckers that are taking a huge salary, and then the people that need the money, the charity in question, it's probably only 10% of what they do, and it's been proven for almost every charity. So this isn't to say I'm not charitable, because if I do want to do a charity or a charitable act, I will do it in person. I will send the money directly to whoever needs it. If there's a homeless person, I will, I would help them, or a friend in need. Maybe they have some surgery they got to pay for. I would happily donate to them directly, but I will never go through a charity organization, because they're just such a fucking scummy scam. And I don't know. We should start the podcast here, guys, because we're gonna get heated a little bit here. But I just wanted to really touch on that real quickly and just say, like, I just hate these fucking scumbag celebrities that are, chastising people, saying like, you need to donate, you need to donate. It's like, bitch, you fucking donate. You donate a quarter of your earnings in a year, you would be good to go. Everybody would be fine down in Maui. But no, yeah, leave it to everybody that's living in a post-COVID world, barely scraping by, can fucking barely afford food right now. Yeah, leave it on us. Thanks, bro. Welcome, everybody, back to Not Rich, Just Bored, episode number 87. Holy hell, here we go. Yeah, sorry, I kind of went full rage mode there. Yeah, let's call it full rage mode. I just literally, I heard this one video of Oprah telling people how they need to donate, and somebody was breaking down the facts of just how much Oprah's worth and how much money she makes in royalties a year, and how she could literally solve, oh, excuse me, Jesus, I'm hiccuping randomly. She could solve the whole crisis alone and still be an incredibly wealthy person. So it is ironic to me. And like I said before, I don't believe in the whole socialism bullshit. I don't think people should be stripped of their riches by any means, but I certainly think that they should be the charitable ones. If you have billions of dollars, you're good. You're good. Like, really, there, you know what I mean? You said there's a limit, there's a ceiling of when you're so rich that you just, like, there's nothing you can't do, That's why, like, Jeff Bezos made that mega yacht and literally changed a bridge so his yacht could fit under the bridge. They had to change the bridge. But it's just, he's bored. You got so much money, there's no point. Like, there's nothing you can't buy. There's nothing you can't do. That's why those guys become art weirdos. I mean, and money laundering. That's what art is, but whatever. Talk about that another day. But they buy like Egyptian artifacts and weird crap around the world like that, because there's nothing, you can only buy so many Lamborghinis before you're like, this is boring, Mr. Beast is doing more than me. But either way, I just want to touch on that, because fuck, sometimes celebrities get real under my skin. I just want to beat the living piss out of them because they're so ignorant. But yeah, what I want to talk about today is the fucking trend in gaming. It's really bugging me, guys. I'm serious. Like, I'm getting so fucking pissed off of this shit and so sick of it. The new games that are coming out now, they're releasing these premium editions. So let me take you back. Let me take you back to, like, hit my mic. Let me take you back to 2012, all right? midnight releases. This was a big deal for gamers back in the day. There would be a midnight release of a game. So you would go to your local Best Buy, GameStop, wherever the fuck you bought your games, and you'd show up the night before release around 11 o'clock, and then by midnight, the store would open and they'd let all the nerds in, the hyper nerds like me, and you would purchase your game and then you'd go home and install it and you could play it after midnight because technically it was legal to sell after midnight. That's why they called it a midnight release. So, and they were hype. They were really hype back in the day. Like, we had a bunch for Gears of War, Halo. There was a ton. Every big new release, basically, we would do a midnight release at Best Buy when I worked there. Well, it was Future Shop back then, but we did those midnight releases, and it was so hype, and everybody was just talking about the games, and it was really it was more social than anything. It was a big deal, but part of it too was that was how you got your special edition, because they kind of changed it later where you could pre-order the special edition, which was fine because that's a good way to ensure it. But back then, to get your actual special edition, you had to wait in line and be near the front of the line because they only had maybe 12 of them or something. Like, I'm thinking Gears of War 2, because Gears of War 2, they had it came with that big Marcus statue. It was fucking baller. It was so fucking sick. It was a great special edition. Same as Skyrim. Skyrim came with the big Alduin statue. There was they were really hyped, those special editions. They were awesome. But yeah, unless you pre-ordered that specific edition, you had to wait in line. And there was only limited pre-orders and all that stuff. So it helped to get at the front of the line, especially if you didn't pre-order the special edition, which sometimes people wouldn't until they saw it in person. They'd be like, wait, that's special edition? This massive box? Halo Reach, that's another one. Halo Reach had a big fucking statue. It had all the Spartans on it. That was really cool. Like, those were probably the three big boxes of those at that time. There was I think it was Gears of War 3, the Marcus one, Halo Reach, and Skyrim. They all had really cool special editions. But nowadays, let me take you to another time. The reason I'm bringing this up is because it's a good memory. It's cool, and games really had to kind of work. They had to work to get you to get that special edition. It was cool. They added like there would be different tiers too. You didn't have to get the one with the big statue. There would be one with like an art book or something cool like that. But there was always something. There was always some physical thing that you got, which was cool, or some in-game item, which was also pretty cool, but it was just more of a bonus. But that's it. It was just an exclusive skin, something like that. Whatever. But nowadays, and this is what pissed me off, this is what's passing for premium editions these days. What they're doing is letting you play early. Fucking Starfield did it. A bunch of other games are doing it. Mortal Kombat 1 is doing it now. And I'm telling you now, I'm not fucking buying Mortal Kombat 1. I refuse. I'm done with this shit, guys. I'm fucking done with it. These game companies need to be held accountable for what they're doing. It's just literally cancer. Like, the standard edition, September 19th it releases for Mortal Kombat 1. You get the base game, and if you pre-ordered, you got Shang Tsung. Now, the premium edition, this is your Marcus statue, right? This is your special edition, which back in the day used to come with something cool, something physical, something you put on your shelf. But now, this is a premium edition, which is like $40 more. It comes with the Shang Tsung character, if you pre-ordered the base game, of course. So, same as standard. And then it comes with 6 new playable characters. So you're going to get 6. So they're basically putting 6 new characters behind a paywall, 5 new cameo characters, which I'm guessing are people like Predator, Alien, Terminator, those kind of guys, like the ones that were, not Mortal Kombat specific, but they're from other franchises. I'm guessing that's what that is. So put 5 of those characters behind so it's 11 characters behind this paywall, essentially. No idea if they're going to come to the standard edition ever. I don't know. It's like 1 week early access to DLC characters, which I don't even know what the fuck that means. I'm guessing it means that if there's downloadable content, you get to download it a week earlier, which is just stupid. And then you get a Jean-Claude Van Damme skin for Johnny Cage, which is kind of badass. And that's kind of more on the line of classic pre-orders or classic, special editions where they added a character, but, the special edition was an extra $20 maybe, and you got a statue and the character. Nowadays, they want $40 extra, and you're getting, basically what they're doing, what's pissing me off is they're putting everything behind a paywall. So it's like, and like the biggest perk is that you get to play 5 days earlier. And my theory as to why game companies are doing this, I was talking to my buddy Sword about this, is that I think they're doing it because of YouTube, because of the advent of content creation, right? Gaming is huge on YouTube. And the premium edition, it releases 5 days earlier. And a person with a normal functioning brain would be like, 5 days? I could just wait the 5 days. Why do I gotta, what? Why the hell would I even be interested in that 5 days earlier? But in the world of content creation, these motherfuckers, they know that people want to be the first to get their content out so they can make content on it and then monetize it and make money, because there is competition there, and getting your video out first is a big deal because you get the most views because you get it out earlier. It's just kind of how it goes. So these guys know by releasing this premium edition, yeah, they have the dragon crystals, which is an in-game currency, I guess, which is fucking stupid. So there's going to be microtransactions for that fucking bullshit, I'm sure. But there's all that stuff that you get in the pre-order. But the biggest thing they know is that all those YouTube guys, all those guys making that YouTube skilla, they're gonna buy that regardless, because they want to be the first. They want to be the first to get their content out. So they know they got those people by the balls, because they could wait 5 days, but I don't know. By the time it's the 19th of September, fuck, the gravy train will have sailed. All the guys that pre-ordered it or got the premium edition to get the early access, they'll already be done. They've already got their content made and uploaded. Sorry. And that really is how fast content creation works. Like, you gotta be on top of it. So, and I think that's why these people are doing it. It's so scummy. Like, back in the day, like, if you did a premium edition, it would give you like a skin for a weapon or just a character skin. And that's okay, because that doesn't change the game. The game is still normal. It's just people paid extra and they got maybe a cool skin for the game, and then maybe they got a statue or playing cards, something physical. But now, literally, people are just paying to play it early. And if you're scummy like Mortal Kombat, you're locking almost close to a dozen characters behind a paywall. And that's what it is. It is a paywall, because it's $40 extra. That's 150%. Like, you're paying 150% for the game rather than 100. Like, it's 50% extra for these collector's editions, because the game's like 89. It's probably $90, and I think they want 140 for the collector. Like, it's just stupid. I just don't. I don't subscribe to this. It's a battle pass thing all over again. Like, gaming is in such a fucking Twilight Zone at this point. It just blows my mind how they've lost their way so much. It's just greed. It's corporate greed. That's all it is. How can we make the most money possible? And it's so sad because, like I said, the whole gaming community online, the YouTube community, they're going to play into this just for the 5 extra days, let alone all the extra stuff you get. But just that 5 days in content creation is huge. So, I don't know. I think it's stupid, and I'm not fucking getting Mortal Kombat 1 because I don't give a fuck. And people can say what they want, and I want people to tell me what they think of this. Comment down below. What do you think? Do you think that's a good collector's edition? Do you think that's well? It's not even a collector's edition, right? It's a premium edition. They don't call them collectors because there's nothing to fucking collect. But what do you think about the early access? What do you think about 5 days early? And like I said, Starfield did that. These guys did this. And I know there's a few other games that have done it recently too. I just can't think of them right now, but it's a very common thing that they're doing. They're just, ugh. Yeah, I'm just looking at it on here right now. Oh, stop it! View the page. God damn it! Yeah, I was right. Yeah, it's $90 for the regular edition. It's $140 for the premium. Like $50 more. God. That is so sad. And like these gaming journalists aren't helping, right? I talked about it last week or a couple weeks ago, how they were giving shit to Baldur's Gate 3. They were giving them shit for making a game that functions, a game that's too good. But it's like, that's what we want, guys. We want a game that functions well, that's fun to play, and makes us happy for a little while. Takes up our time. We get to enjoy our time in that game. That's what we want. We don't want fucking paywalls. We don't want DLC. We don't want battle passes. It's just a bunch of shit. It's a bunch of shit to make money. That's all that is. Like, gaming needs to get back to basics. They need to get back to just making a game that functions and that's good. I feel like all these people, especially in the bigger gaming communities, the AAA developers, they're so obsessed with making a game that's big and open world that they forgot to make the games fucking fun. You can have the world's fastest car, but with no engine, it's just a piece of metal. And that's how I feel about a lot of these games. Huge, open, sprawling world. Yeah, but it sucks. It's not fun. And obviously I'm not talking about Mortal Kombat right now, because Mortal Kombat's a fighting game. It's not an open world. But I'm talking about, like, I haven't played Starfield yet. I'm waiting for my next paycheck, all right? $90 for games, guys. All right, it's expensive. Gotta buy my kids yogurt and shit. But I haven't played it yet, but I've heard that some places feel empty. And it's just one of those things. I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be a good game. And I've heard from friends that it's a good game, but they said it does feel empty in spaces. And because they were talking about this whole thing about being able to free roam from planet to planet and 1,100 or whatever visitable planets. And it's like, that's cool. I get it. But how about we just stop making these games so incredibly huge and just focus more on making everything tight? Making everything a little bit funner. That's the biggest thing, is making a game. If you make a game with a gameplay loop that's really fun, like, it'll sell. It'll sell like hot gangbusters, as they say. But if the game's not fun, yeah, it could be huge as fuck, but if it's not fun, it's not fun. And I think that's what a lot of game developers are suffering from right now. It's just, they have these grandiose ideas but they forget the basics. They forget the basics of making a game that functions, number one, glitch free, and that actually is fun and has a good gameplay loop. And by gameplay loop, I mean the things you're going to be doing 95% of the time. questing, looting, shooting if it's a shooter, whatever type of game it happens to be, upgrading your weapons. Like, it all has to be fluid and fun and not a fuck fest. But the last thing I want to talk about here before I close her off today was, this is some greasy shit going on here. A lot of you guys might know Unity. They're a game company. Um, they they made they make the Unity engine. So the Unity engine, I have a special relationship with the Unity engine because back in my old YouTube days, back when I was a Let's Player on my original channel, I played a lot of indie horror games back in the day, back in like 2012, 2013. I think it was 2012. Yeah. I played a lot of indie horror games that were made on the Unity engine, like Jeff the Killer, and I think SCP Containment Breach was made on Unity as well. Granny was on Unity. There was a fuck ton of them. Candles, Towards the Light. It was a very popular free engine. Like, it was free to develop on, and obviously I think you had to pay to get the full version of it. I had like the free whatever version, but if you wanted to be an actual game dev and develop on it, you had to pay for it, I think. But basically, this just happened yesterday. I'm recording this today on September 13th. So this happened like yesterday, that Unity has changed their decision. They've made a decision to add a new fee to their development tools called a runtime fee. And I'm going to be reading this article by The Guardian about it. But first, the reason I learned about this was because I follow straight back games. Like, well, I don't follow straight back games, but I follow Devour. Devour is a game that they made, and it has its own Twitter page called Devour_game. And this tweets from them about the Unity situation. This is a public statement from Straight Back Games. It says, yesterday, without warning, Unity announced that once a game made with Unity reaches a certain number of sales/revenue, they will begin charging that game's developer 20 cents every time a user installs the game. Yes, you read that correctly. 20 cents per install, not per sale. This has the potential for devastating consequences for game developers. It's particularly bad news for mid-range studios who pass the required threshold, but only just. In these cases, studios' profit margins have the potential to be affected in a tangible, serious way. Incredibly, it also provides ripe opportunity for organized hate, where groups could, in theory, bankrupt more vulnerable developers with uninstall/reinstall campaigns. If this all sounds insane, that's because it is. The news comes as a huge disappointment to the Straight Back Games team. We've spent years developing our games with Unity, and this feels like a gross betrayal of developers everywhere based on nothing but corporate greed. Go figure. We're proud of the fact that we've managed to stay afloat financially while realizing free new content for Devour and continuing to keep its price affordably low for players, but that has been put in jeopardy. For now, we want you to know that we're monitoring the situation and that if any changes are made for the price point of Devour, we'll inform you with plenty of notice. So that was from Straight Back Studios. That was their their tweet or whatever that they it was a statement they issued, but they put it on Twitter X, sorry. But they released a thing that they were saying, basically they're doing this new fee, and I just think it's so brain dead that Unity would do that. Unity would implement a 20-cent install fee. Like, people could literally just uninstall and reinstall the game. And yeah, Like it would be griefing technically, but if you got if I did it 10 times in a day, that's $1. If 100 people did it, that's $100. Like it would get out of control. Like that doesn't even make sense. Like obviously Unity should get paid something for people using their engine, but like a fucking runtime fee is absolutely ridiculous. It makes no sense. But I have a deep love for the indie community because of not only because of my past as a, as a let's player and loving indie developers in general, but also in this modern day of gaming, I feel like the indie games are where it's shining because they're gamers by gamers for the gamers. Like they games by the gamers for the gamers. That's what I meant to say. Because they actually know what gamers want and they care. And it's not about microtransactions. It's about just making a fun game. Like they said, they've done free content for Devour. I haven't played Devour yet. It is on my wish list, but you know, it's but I know it's a cheap indie little, it's like a horror cooperative game if I remember correctly, if it's the one I'm thinking of. But it's like games like that, like Phasmophobia. I paid $20 for Phasmophobia. Like what was it, 4 years ago now? 3 years ago? And I'm still playing that fucking game. And it's still getting new content and it's still changing. Like that's the power of indie. They make actual games people want to play. That Mortal Kombat 1 that you'll spend 140 fucking dollars for a bullshit collector's edition. That'll maybe entertain you for like a fucking month and then it'll be done. And you're done. There goes your $140. So like I feel really bad for indie developers because I know they are for the gamers. They're the last bastion of hope. Like when I'm disappointed with all these AAA developers, I know that there's going to be a sweet indie game come out that I'm absolutely going to love. And so my heart goes out to these people. I think it's fucking stupid. I can't believe that Unity would implement a charge like that because it's absolutely going to destroy a lot of people. And all the big AAA developers, they have their own engines. Resident Evil, like they have the RE engine, and Unreal obviously has the Unreal engine. So everybody has their own engine. So the only no AAA developers using Unity is what I'm saying. So this is only going to affect the indie developers. And I just think like they said in their statement there from Straight Back Games, I think it's just corporate greed. That's all it is. But I'm just going to read this one real quickly before we end here. This is from The Guardian. It's about the Unity situation. It says Unity seeks to clarify new game engine charges amid outrage from developers. Because people are obviously pissed, and rightfully so. Games creators attack the fees due to implementation in 2024 as company executive dials back on initial plan. Okay. That's what it said. So, tech company Unity has sought to clarify its decision to charge a controversial new fee to game developers. A blog post on its official site last night announced the company would be introducing a runtime fee, which would require developers to pay a fixed sum each time a game built using the Unity engine was installed by a player. Unity stipulated that the fee would only be chargeable after a game made $200K in 12 months and had at least 200,000 lifetime game installs, but developers nonetheless vented outrage on social media. Many pointed out that they could be hit by malicious installs, with disgruntled gamers uninstalling and reinstalling games multiple times to burden the developer with huge costs. Others were convinced that they would be charged heavily if their games were included on charity bundles or subscription services such as Game Pass. Unity's pricing change is going to kill charity bundles, wrote developer Callum Underwood on X. No developer is going to want to give thousands of keys to bundles raising money for charities if it means that they will cross the threshold for being charged by Unity. Indie developer Agro Crab wrote on X, guess who Guess who has a somewhat highly anticipated game coming to Xbox Game Pass in 2024? That's right, it's us. And a lot of developers, that means another Crab's Treasure will be free to install for 25 million Game Pass subscribers. That I never even thought about that. Just pause for a minute here. I never even thought about that. If it goes on Game Pass, that's 25 million people. Like, if everybody installed it, that's ridiculous. That'd be out of control. That'd be 25 million divided. That'd be 5 million, right? That'd be $5 million they'd have to pay to Unity. That's gross. I mean, obviously not everybody's gonna install that game, but still they could. If a fraction of those users download our game, Unity could take a fee that puts an enormous dent in our income and threatens the sustainability of our business. Unity subsequently posted a clarification on X today. Unity Jesus Christ, I can't speak. Subsequently posted a clarification via X. Today, this is in quotes, today, a large majority of Unity users are currently not paying anything and will not be affected by this change. The Unity runtime fee will not impact the majority of our developers. The developers who will be impacted are generally those who have successful games and are generating revenue way above the thresholds we outlined in our blog. Unity opened up a FAQ page on its forum to address developer concerns. In an interview with tech news site Axios on Tuesday night, Unity president for Create Solutions Mark Whitten dialed back on the reach of the fees, claiming that developers would now be charged for multiple installs of games would now be charged for multiple installs of games by malicious users. There would instead be a charge for an initial installation and then a second installation on a different device. Okay, that makes more sense, but still, it's ridiculous. This contradicts the company's FAQ, however, which states the creator will need to pay for all future installs. The reason is that Unity doesn't receive end player information, just aggregate data. Whitten also said that games appearing in charity bundles would be exempt from charges, although Unity would have to rely on developers informing the company of their involvement. He also sought to assure developers that they would not be charged fees for standalone demos, nor if their games were to appear on subscription services. Instead, the platform holder would be responsible for the fee. So Xbox on Game Pass, I guess. But Unity's assurances are doing little to assuage. I've never even heard that word before. To assuage the fears of some developers who feel the company has abused their trust by instigating new fees with currently unknowable implications when many game developers have committed to using the Unity game engine based on its previous licenses. Developer Tom Francis commented on X that it wasn't about the details of the new fee, rather the implementation itself that was problematic, because a partner who can and will change how much of your revenue you owe them after you've made and released your game needs to be avoided. I agree with that. Veteran developer and consultant Rami Ismail made a similar point. Listen, folks, y'all could stop arguing the specifics. ... Unity should not be able to retroactively change terms and conditions on products or sales you've already made. Them making this move says they're willing to, and that should be terrifying. The new fees are set to come into play from 1st of January. Charges are set to vary depending on the license developers have signed with Unity, but will be 20 cents per install at the highest rate. But game developers who have already committed to long development cycles with the Unity game engine now face an uncertain future. And then it goes on to say that The Guardian has approached Unity for comment. Yeah, so I don't know, guys. It seems to me that it is just a greedy thing, honestly. And they're kind of backpedaling, saying that, well, it's not going to affect everybody. It's, it's just the top 1%, it's just the top earners, but it never goes that way. And when they're saying like they're not going to charge, the boss was saying that they're not going to charge for multiple installs, but that's just, there's no There's no way you could possibly know that unless it's just from, like he said, from the same device. Unfortunately, it said something different in their FAQ, but yeah, unless you only charged for the install on the first device, like every time it's a new device. But even then, I don't understand it. I think it's just a way for them to money grab. That's all it is. It's just a way for them to nickel and dime. Like they'll probably increase their profits sixfold just from this little 20-cent fee. Because that's how people make money. It's nickel and diming. That's how the real money's made. So I don't know. Either way, I think it's kind of a fucking scumbag move on Unity's part. Who's already, Unity is indie. They are an indie game engine. Like they are not used by any of the big developers. So they should just be fucking happy that they have the popularity they have. Because honestly, all these developers could just go to Unreal and it'd be better. The Unreal Engine's a way better engine anyway. It's a much more fleshed out engine. Like Unity, only in recent years has Unity really gotten a lot better than what it was. Like it was fucking like back when I played like Jeff the Killer and stuff, it was fucking trash. Like it was all like very basic assets on there and stuff. Like it's still cool, don't get me wrong. I have a deep love for those old game engines because they're really clunky and they're fun though. But I think they're getting a little big for their britches right now, and they're trying to just nickel and dime those developers that we love so much that are making awesome games at an affordable rate. Like before I go here, I'm just gonna look up. Okay, my Steam is opening. Wow, why does Steam switch their UI and now it takes 7 years to open? I'm just gonna look on Steam. I want to look up how much Devour is. Yeah, Devour, for fuck's sakes, it's $6.50. That's it is a co-op survival game. Okay, it is the game I was thinking about. Yeah, it's $6.50. Like that's fucking nothing. You can get the supporter edition for $25, $23. Like you can't get a game cheaper than that. And now I really do want to play this game sometime, but I just haven't had the time. Just it's been on my list for a while, but it's just one of those things. Like you can't nickel and dime people that are like 20 cents. That's a big deal. Like if somebody with the current way that they had it, like somebody could install and reinstall that game, a couple dozen times, and you've used up the whole price of the game. Like it's 5 to, so it'd be like 35 times, I think, if I did the math correctly. If you reinstalled it and reinstalled it 35 times, they would be charged the price of the game. Like, it's stupid. So, I don't know. You guys comment down below. What do you think? Is Unity out of line or are they in the line? I personally think they're way out of line and need to get their shit together because, yeah, those indie developers are really the last bastion of hope for the gaming community because the AAA developers are just way too fucking greedy and I hate it. So, anyways, I'm going to go angry clean my shower because it's really dirty. And I know it's TMI, but, gotta get that melamine sponge to work somehow, son. Either way, thank you guys, as always, for listening. I really appreciate it. It's been a tiring couple of weeks. I'm very tired today. I'm gonna have to get some vitamin B12 in me, get some energy levels up. Got a lot of work to do. So disc golf is over for the year for the league. So it's back to business as usual and try to hopefully hunker down for the winter. So but the winter's a good time for gaming, so I'll have a lot more time to game and there'll be more gaming related news hopefully because of that. So again, thank you guys. I appreciate the support. Appreciate you guys listening. Remember, all links to social media are in the description below, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.